It's the Joe Padula Show, Clarksville's conversation.
Absolutely. First up, Coca-Cola, Apple, Delta, Airlines, Major League Baseball, and Joe Biden. They say that the Election Integrity Act of 2021 is worse than Jim Crow laws. Well, maybe you're hearing this stuff, but maybe you don't know what Jim Crow laws are. So let's compare the actual Jim Crow laws versus today's law, and also vote for ourselves. We'll do that now on the Joe Padula Show. Absolutely. Make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, click that like, leave your comments, and definitely help us out by sharing this video, because I promise you it's going to get shadow banned. That's what happens.
We
already have 2 flags.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's probably for saying Jim Crow. Could be.
Why is that?
Could be. I don't know, Bay.
That's the true thing.
Oh, you ain't kidding, Bay. But here, let me pull up let me get the goods here. So, Major League Baseball Commissioner, okay, Rob Manfred, he announced that this summer's All-Star game and the draft are out of Georgia over the state's, what they're calling, controversial new voting law. Apple CEO Tim Cook, he blasted the recently passed voting law in Georgia and he said it's a threat to democracy. Coca-Cola, which is Atlanta-based, by the way, they also, remember earlier, they were doing the Be Less White campaign for their employees?
God, yes.
Well, they said that the bill is unacceptable and does not match. Oh, I'm sorry. They said we want to be crystal clear Pepsi and state, they did not say the Pepsi part, and state unambiguously that we are disappointed in the outcome of the Georgia voting legislation. Delta CEO Ed Bastian, he said this is unacceptable and does not match Delta's values. He said the legislation was based on a lie. President Joe Biden, well, he said this, that it's worse than Jim Crow laws, and also, quote, it's Jim Crow in the 21st century. So let's take a look at these words.
The Jim Eagle law. You know.
What I'm worried about is how un-American this whole initiative is. It's sick. It's sick. Deciding in some states that you cannot bring water to people standing in line.
We'll get into that
vote.
in just a moment.
Deciding that you're going to end voting at 5 o'clock when working people are just getting off work.
Lie. We'll get into it.
Deciding that there will be no absentee ballots under the most rigid circumstances.
Lie. We'll get into it.
And so I'm convinced.
He's funny, fast forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it when you do that.
What was that, a squint, right? Here, let's take a look at that fast forward once again.
And so I'm convinced
It's like he's looking
we'll
at
be
the
able to stop
teleprompter or
this
something.
because it is the most pernicious thing. This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. I mean, this is gigantic.
First things first. Has everyone here in the studio heard of Jim Crow laws?
Of course. Yeah.
Right,
That's
right,
two-
Jaron, right.
Two different things, though.
We'll get into it, babe. That we will.
What?
Man, I thought your system was messing up, man.
Babe's brain just fried. Did
Yeah,
you see
it
that?
That's two different.
Oh, I know. And we'll get into the reason why they're using such a terrible comparison. You know, and it's to engulf emotion and race.
What they're trying to do.
Tony Clark.
This is now. He really does look like that Jeff Dunham puppet.
He does.
Walter the old guy.
Yeah.
I hate my wife.
He really does.
Is the executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. He said he would, quote, look forward to discussing moving the All-Star game out of Atlanta because Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed into law a bill passed by the Republican-led state legislature to overhaul how its state elections are run. So, Mr. President, what do you think about the possibility that baseball decides to move their All-Star game out of Atlanta because of this political issue?
Bad.
I think today's professional athletes are acting incredibly responsibly. I would strongly support them doing that.
I just want
People
them
look to
watch
their
them play the
leaders.
sport.
Look at what's happened with the NBA as well.
He's calling
Look
them
what's happened
leaders.
across the board. The very people who are victimized the most are the people who are the leaders in these various sports.
First of all,
Victimized like how?
You're talking about multi-million-dollar
Yeah.
every year players.
Yeah.
These are not the victims of anything.
And it's just not right. This is Jim Crow on steroids
Ah.
that they're doing in
Jim Crow on steroids.
Georgia.
So this is what's being
and
pushed
40
out.
other states. What it's all about. Imagine passing a law saying you cannot provide water
We'll get into that.
or food for someone standing in line
Watch.
to
Just
vote.
wait.
Can't do that? Come on.
Come on, man.
Or you're going to close a polling place at 5 o'clock when working people just get off?
Lie. Hold
This
on.
is
We'll get
all
into
about
that.
keeping working folks and ordinary folks that I grew up with from being able to vote.
Walter.
What was that? It went from
Oh, that last part?
Ordinary folks that I grew up with from being able to vote.
Okay. So
He's the same dude that said all that racist stuff, saying he didn't want his kids to go to
Yep.
school with blacks and all
Yep.
that, and the way his come on and all that.
Yeah.
It's just so he can catch him with the damn teleprompter.
So here we go. Let's take a look at this. All right, Jim Crow laws on steroids makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. Okay, the 21st century Jim Crow. So Jim Crow laws, for those who don't understand. Okay, these were the laws that were state and local laws that enforced racial segregation in the southern United States following the Civil War, following an attempt at Reconstruction. They were enacted in the late 19th and early 20th centuries by white Southern Democrat-dominated state legislatures to disenfranchise and remove political and economic gains made by black people during that Reconstruction period. Now, the Jim Crow laws, they were enforced until 1965. Do you know who they got to really enforce them? KKK, which, by the way, created by the Democratic Party. Just saying. Did we get a flag yet?
Four
Ooh,
flags.
4 of them.
Yep, 4 of them.
Well, in practice, so Jim Crow laws, it mandated racial segregation in all public facilities in the states of the former Confederate States of America. Also, Jim Crow laws included different trains, different buses based on race, okay? Your schooling, different based on race. You all remember the water fountains for whites only and stuff like that? All that's Jim Crow laws,
Yep.
okay?
Scary to think it was up until the 1960s too.
Right.
But 69 for Nashville,
Yeah, it's
actually.
So the Jim Crow laws and Jim Crow state constitutional provisions, they mandated that segregation of public schools, public places, public transportation, okay, and the segregation of restrooms, restaurants, drinking fountains, okay. U.S. military was already segregated, okay. President Woodrow Wilson, Southern Democrat, by the way, initiated the segregation of federal workplaces in 1913, okay. This was all happening. So are the new voting laws that was just passed in Georgia and other states are all happening because what happened after the 2020 election, watch, we're going to get another one. The states are now passing laws to have better voter integrity, hence the name of the bill. So are these new laws that are being put into place in these states worse than Jim Crow laws, like the corporations are telling us, like the President of the United States on repeat is telling us?
Absolutely not. And I think it's offensive.
Well, it was a rhetorical question. Hold your thought, though.
Gotcha.
Because, yes, we're going to get into...
This really pisses me off.
We're going to get into the diluting of what racism is.
Yeah.
Because it's going to allow more. So here is what is actually in the 98-page voting bill known as the Election Integrity Act of 2021. All you got to do is just read it. It's all online. It's all online. Now, in Georgia, ballot drop boxes are not part of the law. They were allowed because the governor of Georgia has this existing state of emergency declaration over COVID-19, right? You know, the mandates that went out. So as a result, the state authorized, by way of the governor's executive order, ballot drop boxes for people to drop off ballots. So when the executive order on the emergency declaration goes away, the authorization for the ballot drop boxes also goes away. That's how that's working. Mm-hmm. That's why they're saying, there's going to be less ballot boxes. Yeah, that mandate is going to end. Just like, your face mask mandates have ended, and same thing with, to be honest, the election's been over for months now.
Yeah.
Why is that executive order still in place for about ballot drop-off boxes? But here's what's going to be happening. The ballot drop boxes are now going to fall under the state of Georgia, and they can only be in boards of election offices. So they will be there. They will just be in offices now. They won't be in public places where people were dumping water and burning on fire.
Yeah.
Okay?
So they're just tightening the reins, if
Yes.
anything.
So, I mean, you don't want people showing up and destroying the ballots by pouring the water, the fires, the dumping food in there. Even, I was watching the surveillance video of people thinking it's a garbage can and dumping stuff in there. And what happens to those votes?
Yeah.
Once high C is all over it?
See ya.
Okay? Sorry. They were complaining also about how on the new laws, the absentee ballots, instead of examining your signature on the absentee ballot, you have to put your driver's license or photo ID number and birthday on the ballot to ensure that it's you. So now you need an identification for your absentee ballot. They're losing their mind, saying this is racism.
How's that racism?
Exactly.
How is that racism at all?
I'm trying. I went on Twitter. I went into those circles and I asked them, and
We've talked about it before on the show.
and the answer I got was because black people can't get identifications as easy as white people.
That's
Yeah.
a lie.
Bay, is it?
That's a lie.
I hadn't had my driver's license for 4 years. I've been driving on a suspended license forever. I got caught up.
Yeah.
I got pulled over by the 50. Thank God he didn't arrest me.
Uh-huh.
He was a cool guy, but he towed my vehicle. So I had to pay a butt ton of money, which was my fault, to get my license back,
Your identification.
my identification. So if anybody can do it, I only get paid once a month.
Now, also on this this bill here, they got where it's the University of Georgia. I went to this poll. They found that a majority of liberals, conservatives, black voters, white voters, men, women, actually supported, majority-wise, requiring a photo ID copy to be provided to vote absentee.
Yep.
So the Republican law does. It doesn't even go that far. Merely requiring a driver's license number or a photo ID number with the photo ID freely provided. So there will be. Okay, you know that whole 5 o'clock thing that he was talking about,
Yeah.
where voting ends at 5 o'clock when people are just getting off of work? No, not at all. That's a lie. That's a bold. You're being lied to.
So that's not even misleading. That's just flat out just a lie.
There will be as little as 1 week of early voting before runoffs, down from the current 3 weeks. Why? Because the runoff will now be 4 weeks after the general election. So that's very relevant here. In Georgia, that used to be the law. The runoff happened just a few weeks after the general election, and the Obama administration, they sued that it wasn't enough time for military ballots. So now they got a month. As for the polling's closing at 5, here, let me go to this video here. Boom. Walter.
Hey, that guy's a turd.
Let me pull up this video here.
That word makes me laugh every time.
There it is. Now, this is at a press conference with the Biden administration's press secretary, Psaki. Jen Psaki is her name. Yeah, this computer is not cooperating today. Come on, yo. Come on, man.
Oh, we got another one.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means that we're either being reported or that Facebook algorithms are flagging what we're
Hearts
discussing.
and minds.
Yeah.
Hearts and minds.
It's all good. We'll figure this out. All right. Well, nonetheless, it wasn't. It wasn't a 5 o'clock thing. Oh, here we go. Looks like I'm going to be doing some edit and post-production.
While you're doing that,
yeah, what do you got on the...
this is it was really ironic. Chad Hunley, I was listening on Facebook, says you have to have an ID to fly Delta.
Yeah, I know. I know. Delta, who's saying,
Right.
Exactly. Right. And
That's
Delta,
a really good point.
the CEO of Delta's like, oh, this is Jim Crow.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's wild.
I can't get on a plane without showing, this is, I'm paying for the ticket. Here's my identification.
Well, then you have to have like the little gold star now, right? Or did they ever do that? But anyway, I just thought it's hilarious that Delta's the one that's complaining
One other
about
subject.
this.
In Georgia, talking about the voting bill that was just signed from the governor, community organizers have threatened boycotts on big companies like Delta, Coca-Cola, Home Depot, in part from some of the information that's come from the president. In his last news conference, he said that the bill requires voting to end early at 5 p.m. And you've said, and some others said, that words matter. The bill actually standardizes voting hours by counties and adds Saturdays and Sundays voting, and it also allows extended hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So is there going to be a correction
It
issue,
standardizes the ending of voting every day at 5, right? It just
At
gives
seven-
options.
7 to 7.
No, 7 o'clock.
Is what
It gives options to expand it, right? But it standardizes it at 5. It also makes it so that outside groups can't provide water or food.
See, she knows she's caught in the lie, and she goes right to the water.
But outside
The
groups,
friggin' water.
they don't do that now anyway.
So it's just you're being lied to.
Food
That's
to people
all.
in line.
You're being
right?
lied to.
But the
It
vote-
makes it more difficult to absentee vote. Are those things all correct?
No, it's bringing it back to non-COVID pandemic time levels with identification. Identification, just like when you got to get on that plane. Just like when you got to open up a bank account. Just like when you get in that freaking car.
Or alcohol.
Or alcohol.
Cigarettes.
Or a lottery
Cigarettes.
ticket.
Yeah.
and early voting.
And here's a kicker too. This administration wants it to make it so 16-year-olds can vote. 16. How about you pay a tax first?
Right.
Pay a tax before you could say something about what's in the representation without
Taxation without representation.
Yeah. We're taxing you then.
Works for me.
You can standardize adding Saturday and Sunday. So my question is the tone going to change out of the White House? Or
Right? Are they going to stop saying the 5 p.m. stuff to try and scare?
Tone for
And the
a
Jim
bill
Crow.
that limits voting access and makes it more difficult for people to engage in voting in Georgia?
No, that's actually not what the governor of Georgia has said.
Well, I think that is not based in fact what the governor of Georgia has said. So no, our tone is not changing.
Do you know how many people voted that were under the voting age in Georgia in the last election? Over 64,000 people
Holy.
of underage voting went on.
And that's nuts considering the impact Georgia has on the
Oh,
election.
and that's why Texas, that's why all these other, you got so many states are just like, okay, let's start doing voter integrity bills and start passing as laws so we have rules on the books.
Got to.
So it's not state Supreme Courts making the decision because the state Supreme Courts cannot make law. They enforce it.
You got the same people complaining about dead people voting. So if you want to stop that,
Oh, I know. What else do I have on my notes here from reading this bill? Okay, election workers will be required to count ballots without stopping until they're finished. Remember in Georgia?
Yep.
All right, it's 10 o'clock, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go home.
Clear out.
We're going to come back.
Then we gonna move all this stuff underneath the table.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we're back at work. Hey, more votes. Where did these come from? They hate this. The party in power cannot stand this
Oh,
because it is actual voter integrity.
going up in flags.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep, we're at 8 now.
Under current Georgia law, you can stop, go home, come back the next day and pick up ballots. Well, under the new law now, once you start counting the ballots, you cannot stop.
It should have always been like that.
And to accommodate this, the law allows the processing and counting of absentee ballots, before the election. As absentee ballots come in, they will be able to process them now. There is no lack or limiting of absentee ballots. You just now have to provide an identification, just like with everything else you buy in life.
Right.
Buying your vote. I don't know. The one thing that is dumb, though, it outlaws distributing food and drinks to voters waiting in lines.
Well, why don't you just bring your own?
I fail to see the merit in this, though, because I don't have a problem if you want to distribute food and drinks to people standing in long lines. I really don't. As long as there's no political message on it. That's what they're trying to prevent here, is the politicians, because there are laws of bribery now that you're going to be teetering.
Oh, it's very illegal. You can't. Do
Hi,
that.
here's some food. You know, then where does it stop? Here's a gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Here's water. Vote for Joe Padula.
Yeah.
Right. So I hear you. Give out water and food as long as it's not like what was that in Revenge of the Nerds? In the bottom of the pie was the
Oh yeah.
naked women. Right. As long as not you done eating the pie and it's not like vote for Joe, vote for Mikey. Yeah. Right. But the reason that the National Democrats are screaming so much about Jim Crow and voter suppression, it's because they're trying to scare not us or not people who aren't on their team, but they're trying to scare and stir up their base into continuing voting for them. But you know what scares people more than requiring their driver's license to vote? Using a scare tactic like old racist Jim Crow comparisons.
God, that makes me.
That
so
was
mad.
created and enforced by their party. Shoot. See, I censored myself. Bay, go to you first on this. What do you say, Bay?
It's BS.
It's BS?
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it.
They're two different things, man. With that Jim Crow law, is I can't even talk about it. Make me want to cuss.
Is it racist for them to say Jim Crow laws
Yeah.
in this situation?
Oh yeah. He been racist from the get go.
How so?
If you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Oh,
Come
yeah,
on.
that's right.
Come on.
Come on, man.
Miss me with that.
Right, that was on Charlemagne the God?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No. Mm-hmm. And plus, that's
Bay's fed up.
I can't believe they doing that.
10 flags.
Because a lot of people,
Yep.
Damn.
people need to know the difference between that, man. I don't think people know the meaning.
Right.
Really.
Well, here's the thing. People don't know what actual Jim Crow was. They think it was a bird on Dumbo.
No.
Okay?
It was the actual
And it was-
person
it
that made
was-
laws
Right.
that black folks know you can't.
It was legal racism.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had a thing called sundown towns. Well, if I was black, I could not be in that town after sundown.
There still is one in Cheatham County that's like
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
There's an area.
The only one I was for was the not allowing the integration of races when it comes to dating.
Yeah,
Right. That was the only one I voted for.
Loving versus Virginia. That
'Cause
was the landmark case that
That
changed.
was a joke, by the way.
I know, but I'm, you know,
Yeah, that's the one.
it's
That's the
loving
one.
versus Virginia.
Right. Chair, what do you think of all this? What are your thoughts? I mean, you don't get political, do you? I watch your posts and everything. You keep it safe on social media. What do you make of all this stuff? Did you even hear any of this news?
I did from you, but it's hard to have words because it seems like common sense. You need an ID to vote. Why are we fighting over creating something with better fidelity? And I don't understand why it was even related to Jim Crow, honestly.
Because it's racist, according to them. It's racist.
That's what they call it. Crazy.
We get in trouble. We get flagged, or we get the bots pick up when we say the word racist. By the way, so we got to start saying racist or something. Okay. Racist. Ruffles have ridges. Racism.
12,
That does sound a
13,
little German, though.
14.
Red Pill Jen, you were mentioning before the diluting of racism by using Jim Crow when comparing it to requesting and demanding identification, verification on, hey, this is my ballot, this is me.
Nailed it. I mean, it's to me, it's just an affront and an insult to the countless amazing people who fought over the years to overturn the Jim Crow law system, and the people who died literally to get rid of segregation and all those other horrible things. And so for them to come in now and to say that something of this low, tiny magnitude is anywhere even close to Jim Crow, it makes me sick. It just absolutely makes me sick. I don't see where you can even find the comparison.
Do you have Biden regret yet?
Yes.
You do already?
Mm-hmm.
Was this the break? Was this the straw? Or was it the stairs that he fell up?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not going to judge somebody based on falling on airplane stairs.
It was windy.
It was windy. It was windy.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was windy.
I'm still conflicted, but I'm not going to lie. And for the record, I did say from the get-go that I wasn't in love with either one, and I really kind of felt like I was between a rock and a hard place, and that I should have, and I admitted this freely months ago, that I should have researched other candidates a little bit more and made a better decision. And I'll say that. I'll hands up, white flag. I'm
Caucasian flag.
I was just
Mikey,
I surrender.
I just found out she was a Biden supporter.
Where's Kamala Harris in all this?
I don't know. I don't even know who she is.
Nobody does.
I don't have to practice for a board. I don't care.
Army talk.
Yeah, I don't. This is just completely
Ludicrous.
pissed me off. It's just they based their whole election through the last 4 years on a man being racist when. I'm sick about it, man.
Well, here's the thing: if you are you for showing identification when voting?
Yeah.
Well, then in their eyes and their words, you're racist.
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly.
Because you saying what you feel need to be done. That needs to be done.
Because
they're
nowadays in societies, the scariest person to be is a white male. And I'm a white male with a beard, so
Yeah.
I'm automatically racist, even though I got brown babies. So
and nice nipples too.
thank you, sir.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
And a Speedo.
Intern Shane agreed. He has nice nipples.
Yes.
Okay.
That was he was thinking about it. That was a very strong and powerful yes.
Intern Shane. Speaking of which, flex those pecs. Come on, baby. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
Keep that up. I'm gonna turn him out.
Cherry, don't get hypnotized. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
Don't be falling in love now.
Oh my gosh.
Let us know what you think.
I
I love it. Let us know what you think. All right. Get those comments. Intern Shane, did any comments stand out for you?
Let's see.
Oh, you weren't. Okay.
Christopher Russo says, "I'm ready for my freedom back. Thank you, America. Teamwork makes our dreams work."
Yeah, that's a good point. Also mentioning they want to own us, and we are not complying with their freedom to be tyrants while they temporarily own the house. Yeah, I hear you. They want more power,
Of course.
and how do you get more power?
Fear.
You loosen up the voting laws, and you flood the gates, and you make it more susceptible to fraud. Okay? It's that simple. Mm-hmm. All right. I got to move forward. Huskies, love you, Joe. Yeah, love you too. You my homie.
And in case you were wondering, there was a guy that posted about natural herpes cures.
See, Husky says, I don't have Biden buyer regret because I wrote in Tulsi Gabbard.
Scroll up to what
Scrotum?
was.
Yeah, that big old paragraph.
Yeah. Natural herpes cures, just in case you need one.
Can I not get up to it anymore?
That's what she said.
Aw. You just had to go there, didn't
Yeah.
You
you?
just walked right into it.
Hey, thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. And we'll get into more of this in a little bit. But coming up next.
It's the Joe Padula Show. Bada bing. Clarksville's conversation.